Icons of Rock presents.
So about what year or what time was it in this whole timeline when you formed another band and then produced the Space Rangers projects, which were a lot more heavy metal than you'd been previously? I mean, you know, we talk about Bruce Cockburn and Rick James, and then all of a sudden out comes Space Rangers. Where did that come from in you? How did you get there?
I was always into science fiction. The name came from a serial back when I was a kid that used to be on Saturday morning TV. You know those series you go to a movie and they were on between the movies?
Sure.
And one of them was called Rocky Jones Space Ranger, and I always liked that show as a kid. So I liked the Space Rangers thing, so that's how the name came into be. How I did the music was I was thinking of putting a new act together with a more of a bass and bass drum feel, more funky like Traffic.
Okay.
But I auditioned a bunch of guitar players through the Music Connection. I put an ad in, and one of these guys that turned up was a guy called Timo Lane.
Okay.
And he had an octavator, he had a wah-wah, and a Echoplex plugged into an amp, and he played really like loud volume, and the sound was like really unique. Mm-hmm. And I had written a song. I went to see Bowie the week before. My old road manager took me to see David Bowie's Spiders from Mars thing, which was sci-fi also.
Right.
And one night after the show, the day after the show, my road manager, Robbie Randall, says, bet you can't write like that kind of song. So I wrote this song called Hollywood Boulevard,
Sure.
which was in that genre. And I took Timo and Timmy McGovern, a drummer that was also signed to Artie Ripp's Family Productions with a group called Velvet Turner in the old days. I got to know him, and he was a great drummer. He got into the project. I took them into the studio, the same little demo studio I use most of the time. And Timo brought along this guy called Robert Silvert, some guy he played in bar bands with that had a Chamberlain with the strings. It was the granddaddy of the Mellotron. And I cut Hollywood Boulevard, and the sound was so orchestrated metal that set the precedence for the sound that I took into the Space Rangers thing.
That makes sense to me now.
Yeah, so we did.
Listening to it, I'm like, okay, how do you get there from here?
Yeah, as Maury Lathauer was vice president of A&R for Capitol back when I was signed to them, so I called him up for help, and he gave me free studio time at Capitol Studios.
That's nice.
Yeah, he was leaving to go with Neil Bogart's Casablanca, and he said, I can do this for you. So we went in, I think, for a night or two, and just basically jammed and did some of the few rehearsed pieces we had. Jammed 8 Miles High and Sunshine Superman, which Donovan heard later down the line and thought was amazing, but that's another story.
It is amazing.
And we cut that album in about 5 or 6 hours, the whole thing.
Oh, my goodness.
And then people dropped out like flies. When my money ran out, I couldn't pay rent anymore, rent rehearsal space, and, that kind of thing. Right. Silvert sold the Chamberlain, sold everything, didn't notify anybody, and just left town. Went back to the Midwest to work with his father's company, and then eventually Timo Lane disappeared. So it was 6 months later that Robbie Randall, again, my old Mamelon road manager, took the tape to Skip Taylor.
Yes.
Skip did Canned Heat and people, and his brother Jim Taylor happened to be in the office. They blasted the tape. Taylor flipped out, and he wanted to manage me, Jim. So I said, okay, and he took it to Mercury, and Mercury bought it right off the bat. Because of this, Danny Lipschitz, the secretary for the head guy there. And
wow.
I put a new Space Rangers together right away. And unfortunately, when the ad came out in the trades, Timo came back, and I said, yeah, you're in if you want. But when he came back, he wanted half of everything. And I said, I'll give you a quarter for the few arrangement ideas and for being part of the original thing. And he said, no, half, and walked away, and we never worked it out. So
what a shame.
Yeah. But he got credit on the website. I finally gave him credit. The management wouldn't put credits on the album for fear that something could be done to stop the project,
Right.
Whether
fear
it was
of the lawsuit.
Yeah, which was not really pending for any real reason, but unfortunately, when he finally came around, we were booked for the Whiskey with the new act, and we were playing it, and that was it.
Well, it's all about timing, and it's I'm sure nobody harbors anybody ill
Yeah.
will, but it's about timing. You know, you said no to Crosby, Stills and Nash, and
Yeah.
he said no to you, and
Yeah.
you know, let bygones be bygones,
Yeah.
right?
But the second album, Kryptonite, I think is one of the best things I ever did. We went to Village, we cut it in like two nights. And I love that album. And a lot of people, apparently worldwide, that are, you know, cultists of me,
Sure.
like that album too.
Yeah,
so,
no, there's a lot of stuff on the internet about
we're getting ready to do a third one. I found Mike Willis, the original guitar player, and
Wow.
I'm back with Jamie. So
So you
Space
guys out
Rangers
there,
3
Space
is coming.
Rangers 3. Stay tuned to neilmerryweather.com and iConz of Rock.